Welcome back, Hoonigan Happy Hour, the show that's not really an hour, but it's an hour worth of content in like 15 or so minutes.
Are you mad? Because if you are, I'm sorry.
Now back to your regularly
We weren't expecting to kind of pull out the big guns on episode 2. Yeah, we wanted to ease people in. We're still building the place.
We don't want to bring people here and not have them something to show inside. But Chris really wanted to come and check it out. Chris Forsberg, by the way. So we said, sure, you can come, but you have to bring the Altimaniac.
That.
Chris, we heard this was the second best Altima of all time.
Yeah, there's a couple front runners out there, you know, so I really gave it my best.
Is there a hashtag I can find them under?
Yeah, hashtag Altima
Hashtag
Warriors.
Ultima Warriors?
Yeah, the Ultima Warrior.
The Ultima, it took me a second to get that one.
Yeah.
Yo, Ron, I think you and I need to do the walk around because everyone else has already seen this once.
I didn't ask Chris any questions. Yeah, I just rode in it. It's a really good ride.
Oh, humble brag.
I only saw it from here and I didn't ride in it either.
Okay, so we can all ask
Well, I also wanted to give it the big boy test, and it still works.
It scrapes a lot. It scrapes a lot.
Wait, can me, Hurt, and Vin all get in?
We might get landlocked.
You can't fit a crock under there.
It's as low as it looks. It will scrape out here. So the whole idea with this car was I wanted to build, you know, we've had the Infiniti for over 10 years now, and it's my favorite car. You know, as drift car technology just got better and better, you know, turbos, obviously just like the suspension design work and everything of like the people that came together to help build this car. It's like, what if, you know, we took a late model, current model Nissan, 4-door, of course, because why would you build a 2-door, did a complete tube chassis on it. And so this whole thing is the world's first CAD design tube chassis drift car. Since it is like, you know, a 4-door big sedan, it's like, well, instead of doing like the VIP look, which Hurt already did an amazing job on, I wanted to go a different route, give it like a DTM, like touring car look. Since it was tube chassis, like, okay, let's like, you know, push all the bulkheads up, push all the suspension points up. My goal was to get the wheel arches over the headlights like an actual touring car without really doing like a full composite body. This is a factory bumper, factory hood, and then the A-pillars down around the side. Outside of that, we pushed the frame up, we pushed all the suspension points up, and then we sunk the engine down and back behind the front axle and a full custom drivetrain with a sequential shifter, the Winters rear end, all pro car drift stuff, and we wanted to also put on top of it exclamation point of the world's most powerful drift car. So it has not hit the number yet, but we're running on the tune of our pro car since this is the second time we've ever had it out, so it's one less variable for testing this car that one time out of grid life. It's running the same power level as the pro car, which is 1,012 at the ground, which is about 1,300, but it's capable of 2,000 horsepower.
I'm gonna slow him down a little bit, all right? This is the second time ever that this car is doing anything. The first time was at Grid Live.
Which we put the tune on that car in 1 hour.
Yeah.
So we basically took the pro car map, threw it on the car, and just cleaned it up to match the new turbos and the sequential and everything else. I fired up for the first time Tuesday at midnight, hit the ground like this for the first time. Yeah, last week. Hit the ground the next day at 3:30, went in the trailer, hit the dyno at 4, ran for 1 hour, back in the trailer at 5, went straight to Grid Life, and that was the first time it ever drove. So now it's here.
You're a savage.
Before we pop the hood and we talk about all 2,000 ponies this thing has, is it ponies?
Full-grown pony. It's got 2,000
full-grown
ponies
this thing has.
Should we ask Chris
No, it's got 1,300 half-grown horses, but it's gonna have 2,000 full-grown
putting you on the
You know a pony will never be a horse,
right?
It only...
I said, you know a pony will never be a horse, right?
My man. You're on our team.
No.
Wait. This is
I'm over here too.
I don't know what team.
This is team education.
It's team full-grown pony. Full-grown pony.
Only one person on that team has a running car.
Oh, shit.
This is a test of the emergency advertisement system.
You know that 6.4 liter Hemi-powered Jeep you saw in this versus that?
That's a way closer race than it should have been.
Now it's your chance to win it. Got everything you need to go rock crawling. Got KMC wheels wrapped in fresh Falcon tires. Big boy shocks, big boy sways. Gotta have the winch. Today only, 2x entries on every dollar you spend on Hoonigan.com and CarCaneSupply.com.
Back to the important thing. Touring car design has always taken the coolest, like the least cool car. Not saying that the Altima is not cool, but the least cool car and made it cool. Right?
Exactly.
I mean, this is like
The Dodge Stratus.
yeah, like
The Dodge Stratus.
touring car.
Dodge
version?
Stratus touring
Sick.
car is sick.
No, that's what I'm saying. And the trick to it
Is just shoving the body to the ground and putting massive wheels.
And to Chris's point, the problem with that is a lot of touring cars look really, really sick. But let's be honest, most touring car racing ain't the greatest thing to watch, at least for hours aren't.
Cut to some 80s, 90s touring car footage.
Beautifully on the inside.
Trump corner, Super goes for third. He's spinning, he's rejoined.
All right, so pop the hood.
This, like I say, you can kind of see a lot of the custom tube work and just how much more room there is in the engine bay now.
Oh, we kept the
You
hinges.
still have hinges.
Wow, that is so far back.
Yeah, so the entire engine is behind the front axle, which is
Holy
another
hell.
insane placement for the motor. There's a lot of things I thought were going to make this car not work at all, because the Infinity, you know, it's got a big V8, it's got the radiator in the front and everything else, and that thing is so heavy on the rear that it
East Coast, bro. East
It
Coast.
just wants to skate forever, and when you get on the power, it just digs and wants to straighten out. And so this car has that same effect. And so when we're putting the rad in the back, the fuel cell in the back, and the engine's so far back, I'm like, is this thing even going to burn tires? Yeah, it does.
Dude, I love the way the turbos sit on this. It makes the turbo system look really simple, but just like aesthetically, it's so rad.
It's nice to see someone keep the twin turbos in the car.
We did want to have the turbos up out of the hood, and the motor's so far down and back that even the turbos that high, they still clear the hood. And we're just like,
I
oh,
cannot tell you how satisfying it is to just see the straightest shot on the planet in the
Oh,
intercooler,
yeah.
and then bam, right in there.
Yeah, that billet
That
plenum
is
is pretty amazing.
that is the
too.
one and only one in the world. T1 race built VR38, punched out the 4.1 liter with a billet bottom end. So this engine's capable of 2,000 horsepower. You could make potentially more, but we're going to keep it around that for drift power. We haven't hit it yet, but there's no reason why we can't. Like the T1 guys, they have the absolute fastest GTRs in the world. They're making over like 3,300 wheel, but that's billet block territory. And so we're like, well, we want to be like the first drift car to 2,000. They're just like, okay. We did custom turbo manifolds to the Garrett twin turbos. These are the G3770s, which is what we're going to run on our Pro car this year.
Holy
so
crap.
we ran those on there. We're going to put the G35 1050s on to make the big power. Outside of that, the engine sits super far back. It has a daily dry sump oil pan, so it's real low to the ground. That intake manifold is from CJ Motorsports. It's the first and only one in the world, single inlet GTR intake manifold. So the exhaust, we wanted to, get tapered out. We were going to just go straight out the hood, and I was like, wow, maybe we can do something more trick. So we came out with this idea to come through that cowl, where normally the windshield wipers sit up in here. This was cut back, the windshield was shortened, and then we put, the engine obviously in its place. And Jimmy, my crew chief, main fab guy, just absolute monster, who really built this car start to finish. He's the one that cut all the metal out of it and just did all the actual fabrication on this chassis outside of the tube chassis design.
Didn't use a plasma on this. This is hand cut.
Oh yeah,
Hand
Oh really?
Jimmy did that by hand. Yeah,
By
'cause
hand.
he's a machine. I have a plasma. He chose this. And then the suspension, I wanted to do a double A-arm setup just because it's very compact. It's all within the confines of the wheel. You don't have a big McPherson shock up here where we wanted to put the turbos. So we have a lot of adjustability on there, but it was all drawn in. So you can see the car wasn't built around like a pair of subframes, just kind of staged in the front and back of an Altima. The entire chassis was cut on table at Rob Parsons' shop. Tech Consulting designed the whole thing. They scanned the car, designed the car, and then sent the package to Rob. And then he cut it out on his table, put it on a pallet, and sent it to us.
The dash of the back is a nice touch.
Yeah.
Because Chris cares about his passengers.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you gotta give them a little bit of fun too. The tech guys, when they drew the car out, you can see like how small the console and the transmission tunnel and the drive shaft tunnel is. They wanted to have it really compact so there's room inside the car for passengers, which is really cool. It just is really inviting, to get into. It's not too intense of just like feeling confined,
Shout out to Recaro There's no potato chip going on here. Look at that. That's a thin, stiff carbon seat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The tires you fit on this thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
What size are these?
Big beeps. 295
$295.40. Oh, see it. That's cool. Yeah. So you were saying like getting in and out with the cage is like super easy. You don't have like a really high door bar or anything.
Yeah, it's got its own little X bar. It's still easy to get into, but it's got all the protection for if there's some sort of side impact.
Is the cage built to any certain spec, or just kind of the safest thing you guys felt it could be built to?
Safest design. Cool. The guys at Tech usually build trucks, for off-road racing, razors, luxury pre-runners.
I was gonna say the integral center pipe is very like trophy truck
very
style.
truck style. Yeah,
seeing that. That's cool.
Yeah, and like right in the back, there's 9 tubes that come together, all at the front diff mount. So it's just all the power being distributed through the chassis. Yeah. So very, very strong chassis.
So sick. Chassis mount swan neck. It's sick.
I also love the livery. It's such a good like throwback style livery. Single sponsor livery.
Yeah.
Well, I mean obviously you have Nissan there too, but like it's really a Valvoline livery. Like there's something super cool about that because like I feel like you don't see that as much
Absolutely,
anymore.
man.
And that was one of the things we wanted to stick with. I mean, of course, there's a lot of partners that help with the products on the car, but yeah, Valvoline and Nissan were the two that really made it come together, and we wanted to show that with the actual scheme of the car.
Uniform, special cut these for you.
Yeah,
I don't think I've seen that wheel before.
Yeah.
Those are rad.
What are the brakes from?
Brakes are actually an Nismo aftermarket. It was an aftermarket kit for the Z's that we actually took and modified to fit onto these hubs.
And the hubs, are they GTR hubs or?
No, the hubs are aftermarket custom billet ones.
Look at my hubs through my back window.
Okay. Yeah, you can see
there you go, right there.
Yeah, you can see a lot of the tube work from the back.
Oh, look at that. Replaceability right here.
Yeah.
Every bit of the chassis is one piece throughout front to back. So this all came out, like this is a flat piece of metal and this was a flat piece of metal that got broke into a C channel and it got laid in, tongue and groove welded all the way through, tied into the actual roll cage chassis. So these rear bulkheads can be basically cut off and replaced, and we built these bulkheads out of the metal in like a day. Like it just like all clicked together, and a couple tack welds, we did it right on the bench. Very, very rigid.
Chris, I'm sure most of us could sit here and listen to you talk about this for hours, but I think we also want to hear it.
I just want to burn some tires off of it.
I think that's where we're at this point now.
We're simple humans. Vroom, vroom, boom, boom, ba, boom, 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 boom.
I'm just leaving it here. I'm letting him think about it.
You are such a
He comes around here and exits out.
Subtle
decimates tires. This thing decimates tires.
You said it wasn't that loud, right?
This thing is insane.
Give it a little tap.
A little tap. I rode in it already.
outside and I thought it was gonna melt. Yo, this thing is massive in the yard too. It's a big car. Holy crap.
Welcome to Chairslayer Studios. What you guys think?
Awesome.
We're not interrupting your work, are we?
Oh, hell no. Awesome.
Our old neighbors was a school, so I think it's a little bit more chill with you guys being our neighbors now. It works out. You guys seem to like it. You're clearly